Hello, hello, hello. How are we? Say hello. Let me know how your day's going, how you are too. Lovely to be here with you all. Let me know how you're doing. How is everybody? Lovely to be here with all of you. Lots and lots of you joining. Hello from sunny Kent. Hello, Chloe D. Hello, Lydia. Hi, guys. Nice to see you all. Lovely to be here with you. Hi, Stanley. How's your day going, everyone? Give it a 1 to 10. How's your day going? I've just heard that England have just scored their second goal, which is very cool. Hi, Mim in Australia. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. We'll give it a couple more minutes just to allow people to come on over from what they've been doing. A 10. Love it. Hi, Kate. Hi, Helen. I know, go England. Awesome. So the next thing that would be super useful for me to know, and we're going to get started in just a minute, is hi, Tegan. Oh, yes, go Australia too. Of course, Mim. Sorry. Yes. I'd love to know what you are hoping to leave today with. So what is most important to you that you leave today with? And we've got a wonderful international community here: New Jersey, Dublin, Scotland, Australia, Canada. Incredible. So Alison wants to know how to break bad habits. What about everyone else? Why are you here today? What do you want to leave with? You've invested your time here with me today, and I want to make sure that you really understand how to create the patterns and habits that you want. A reset. Okay. Toolkits. Inspiration. All right. How to set good habits and keep them. Yeah. Stickability. Okay. These all make a lot of sense. A lot of sense. Consistency is key, isn't it? Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Well, I think that we should get going. This is one of my favorite topics. So I am Lucy. So my name's Lucy Chamberlain, and I'm the founder of the leading socially conscious boutique recruitment company, CNC Search. I'm also the founder of CNC Academy. And our mission is to help everybody that we work with, whether it's through our recruitment or whether it's through our training and development, to really tap into their unlimited potential. I've been fortunate enough to use my platform to speak globally. I'm an ICF master coach, and habit change is one of the modalities of coaching that I gained an additional qualification in. And I think for anybody that is looking to create a life that is fulfilled and feels successful, and that will be different for me and to all of you here today, what success looks like, is understanding habitual behavior is one of the biggest cornerstones of how we can shift into living a way that is in alignment with the life and the future that we want to create and that we want to exist in. And I think for me, I think for all of us, the subjects that we're most interested in are because they resonate with us most. And I think that habits and understanding habits and responses has been something that has really transformed my life, actually. And I have been traditionally somebody that used a lot of different tools to feel in control. So overworking, it might have been overcommitting to things. It might have been people pleasing, all sorts of different ways. And studying and learning and being able to unravel my own habitual patterns, and then to use that knowledge and my studies to assist those that we work with through our development academy, how to unlock those, has been unbelievably fulfilling. And we're going to have a whistle-stop tour today of some of what that looks like. So these are just some of the clients that we work with, both in our recruitment and training side of the business. We'd love to hear from you. Obviously, if you are looking to book training and development for your organization, or of course, if you're looking to hire or looking for a new opportunity yourself, we would love to hear from you. And as a small boutique business, we so appreciate you partnering with us. So keep in touch, won't you? And I want to hear what resonates. So, do post on LinkedIn, do share any learnings or what resonates for you. It both really supports us as a small business, and it also is brilliant for raising your own profile too. So I want to kick off today with a question for all of you. And I would like to know, what are the daily habits that would get you to living the life that would lead to deep feeling of self-esteem, of confidence, of success, whatever that looks like to you? I wonder what right now, in terms of your habitual behavior, whether it's too much scrolling on Netflix, whether it's constant distraction, whether it's overeating, whether it's using substances to squash your feelings, whether it's a lack of ability to see things through in terms of movement or meditation, or simply making your bed in the morning. What are the daily habits that you would love to bring into your life that would really help you get from where you are right now to where you know your fullest potential would exist? What does that look like? And is it possible? What would make you happy? What would give you a life where you are living and existing in better circumstances? What would enhance your self-esteem? What sort of behaviors and patterns do you know that, if they were a core part of your life, would lead to a great ripple effect in all other areas? And it can be the smallest things. Remember, small steps lead to big change. So I would love to know what that looks like. Now, I do also want to share with all of you that there are no such thing as bad habits and good habits. Because all of our habitual behavior is a coping mechanism. There are habits that are on our inside, and there are habits that no longer support us or sustain us. Because remember, at one point, that habit became a habit because it was a solution to a feeling or a problem or something we were experiencing. So it was our solution. And sometimes what was a solution can become a problem. So if we all spent more time beating ourselves up about what's not right or what's wrong or what's not good enough or what's bad about our habits, I mean, we'd all be super happy and successful. But beating ourselves up does not work. Curiosity works, but beating ourselves up does not work. And if there's one thing I want you all to leave with today, is that you are all more than enough as you are. We are all imperfectly perfect, and we are all navigating this crazy world that we live in and having a human existence. And so any particular habitual behavior at the moment that is no longer serving you is not something to beat yourself up about. It's actually something to get super curious and compassionate about. So that is something I would like you to take away with you. A quick tool, because I want all of my webinars and workshops to be super useful, something you can do straight away. One of the ways that you can really help to shift habits is to write yourself a letter of self-compassion about all of the reasons why particular habits exist. Be super compassionate about them and really deeply understand what the trigger is, because actually the habit or the solution that we're choosing for certain feelings is not the problem, or not where we should focus all our energy. It's much more around the trigger. What is it that triggers me to behave in a certain way, and how would I like to shape that and be more different, and for that to be more different, or for that to be different? There's a great book called How to Be an Imperfectionist, and that will also really help you to let go of the need for everything to be perfect in order for something else to happen. We all know it's true. We all know that when often we set ourselves a new intention for a new way of living or being or operating, whether it's at work, whether it's through exercise, whether it's in relationships, that the minute perhaps it doesn't go as planned, we decide that it's never going to happen anyway, and we go back to old behaviors. We're really tough on ourselves. And that's one of the ways that you can shift immediately, is to really bring in self-compassion on a day-to-day basis. One of the immediate ways that we can start to create the future that we're going to live in is to be super mindful of some of these small aspects of what many of us have as a core part of our day-to-day life that you could immediately focus on little shifts in. And so treating every day as though it's just another day rather than a gift. Because the fact that I've reached 46 years of age is amazing. I'm so lucky to have popped up where I've popped up in terms of, living in a democracy, in terms of living in an affluent society, having access to education, all of these things that we forget. So making sure wherever you can, you notice the glitter, that you intentionally notice the gifts and whatever they may look like. One of the biggest challenges that we all have is this gig economy that we are now in, the cult of distraction designed to keep you buying, spending, thinking that you don't have enough and someone else has got it all sorted, so you'll buy and spend some more. Remember that all of those distractions are not there for you. They're there to ensure that you pump lots of money into whichever company is pinging you, alerting you, distracting you. So getting fully present is another really simple habit that you can consciously bring into your life. How often do you chat to someone, you're thinking about something else, or you're on your phone talking to somebody and you're busy scrolling at the same time, or you're texting when you're parked at a red light, checking social media apps when you're supposed to be working, whatever it might be. All of these distractions take us away from being present in the day. And one of the best things that we can do when it's raining is to let it rain. So surrendering to what is, not trying to control every single little thing. And one of my coaches said to me that one of the most powerful weapons that we have as humans to create the future that we want to live in is to understand that we have the ability to choose one thought or response over and above another. So we have that opportunity. And one of the biggest ways that we can break the cycles of our habitual behavior is to take a pause, the power of the pause, and choose one thought or response over a reaction and over another thought. Because imagine what a life would look like when your habits were on your own side. They were supportive, caring, nurturing. They made sure that you met your needs. They made sure that you were focused, present, that you were able to really feel in tune with what matters to you most. Imagine what that life would look like. How would you feel? Just share in the chat, how would you feel, or what would life look like where your habits were on your own side? And those would look different for every single one of you on this call. What would that feel like, look like? How much of a huge shift would that be? And I promise you that this is accessible for all of you, absolutely accessible for all of you. And do remember that every now and again, eating the ice cream is absolutely fine. It doesn't matter if you have a tub of ice cream, as long as you're consciously aware that's what you're doing. Because over 80% of all of our day, 80% is spent in a habitual behavior that we are not conscious of. 80%. Can you believe that? That is so much of our life on autopilot. It would be amazing for life not to be on autopilot, but choices and conscious. So where do we begin? How do we build a life which is full of habitual behavior that's going to support our relationships, our careers, our health, our connections? Where do we start? Well, it's through action. We can only create change through action and conscious decision to do things differently. But our brains are going to fight against us. Our brains are absolutely designed to limit decision making because we have so many decisions that we make every single day, over 35,000 decisions. And our brains are unbelievably sophisticated, incredibly capable of creating shortcuts where needed in order to retain energy, in order to be able to divert focus and attention to other things. But we are what we repeatedly do. And what happens is our brains remember like a little imprint. I'm stressed. If I spend an hour when I'm stressed, when I get home, drinking the red wine and eating a packet of biscuits, I feel better. And I do it again the next night, and the next night, and the next night. My brain learns that the solution to stress is the wine and the biscuits. And so what happens is, and how often has this happened to you? You decide you're not going to do the thing. I'm not doing that anymore. And then all of a sudden, you're back on the sofa, glass of wine, packet of biscuits. And it's because subconsciously your brain has created a lovely neural pathway that says the solution to X is Y. So a habit is simply something that is regularly repeated and usually then will occur subconsciously with very little conscious decision making. Habits serve a purpose. They're our solution usually to emotion. Things that we are feeling that we would rather not feel. And half to 80% of our time, as we've discussed, is spent in these automatic behaviors. And with conscious effort, with conscious intention, we can build a whole new set of habitual behaviors that really do support us, whether it's busyness, overeating, overthinking, procrastinating, argumentativeness, whether it's gossiping, whether it's not moving, whether it's scrolling too much, shopping too much, whatever it is that doesn't feel in alignment with the way that we really want to live our lives, we can change. We absolutely can change. How long is it going to take to bring in a new habit? 66 days, that's what the science says. But actually, it's about creating a support system in your life that will support the new habits that you want to bring in. And we're going to talk about how to let go of some of the old habits that are no longer serving you. So how do we create a support system? Well, first of all, we need to focus on the why. How will I feel moving towards goals? Our brains are like an elephant and a rider. Okay, so your elephant is your emotional brain and the rider is your rational brain. The elephant is impossible to move by the rider if it doesn't want to. So there needs to be a connection in your emotional brain for the why. What's life going to look like, feel like? What will I be wearing? What will I be doing? How will I be operating in the world? How successful will I be in my role with these habits that I really want to bring in? And it's setting small steps to big change. One of the biggest derailer of habit change is this huge goal, which sets us up ultimately for failure. Small action, big change. And we're going to share with you a habit audit that you can utilize for weekly and monthly reflections. And we'll share this with you afterwards. I'm just showing it to you here because we have to make time for our intentions. We have to make time to create new neural pathways in our brain. When a habit emerges, even one that's feeling painful, or you can't believe you keep repeating the same thing over and over again, it's because the brain stopped really participating. It stops working hard and diverts focus to other things. And this is why it's so tough to break habitual behavior. And they hold so much influence, don't they, over the way we think, how we're acting, how we're feeling. And it feels incredible when we are able to bring in a new habit, doesn't it? That's really on our own side. Who's had that experience on the call right now where they have really been able to bring something into their life that now is a core way of your operating on a day-to-day basis that has made a big shift for you? Who's had that feeling? Who's had that experience? What did you manage to bring into your life that really stuck? I bet all of you have been able to do that. Yeah, so gratitude, fitness, prayer. It feels amazing when you start to bring some of these things in. And we're all capable of it. Cold water, gratitude, mindfulness. Yeah, exactly. And eventually they become automatic behaviors. They absolutely become automatic behaviors. One of the easy ways to start to help to create new habitual behavior is for you to start the week off. So perhaps on a Sunday or a Saturday or a Friday, but planning for the following week and saying, what are my non-negotiables next week? And how do I make those happen? How do I support those? So my non-negotiables might be, I am going to exercise 3 times. I'm going to meditate twice. Really small. Put them in my diary. Put an alert on there. How can I make them appealing? How can I make them rewarding? How committed am I to that intention, to that non-negotiable? And what will happen when life happens? We all know that when life happens, it's so easy to go back to old ways of being and doing, whether it's smoking or over drinking or scrolling or spending 3 hours watching Netflix, whatever it might be that doesn't feel like it's serving you. So what happens when life happens? And how do I make sure those non-negotiables happen anyway? Because we are all going to experience stress. We are all going to experience sadness. We're all going to experience anger, frustration, resentment, tiredness, loneliness, all of these traditional triggers for coping mechanisms. We're going to feel all of those things. So how do I still make those other things happen? So we have this loop, don't we? And the bit where we need to focus the most is the cue or the trigger. And what are yours? What are yours? Everyone's will be different. Is it feeling invisible? Is it feeling overworked? Is it feeling anxious? Is it feeling tired? Tiredness is a huge one. Is it feeling stressed? Or is it certain people that are a trigger for you? Is it certain places that are a trigger for you? And we used to have a pub next to, when I was setting up CNC 10 years ago, there was a pub that was right next door to my old place of work where I was for nearly 13 years. And we would have a drink in that pub, probably bearing in mind, this was the early noughties and late 90s. We would have a drink there probably 2 or 3 times a week. And it's interesting because when I walked past that pub, only, I think it's probably about 8 months ago, I had this overwhelming desire to go into that pub and have a glass of red wine. Nothing wrong with that, but it was interesting that that place was such a strong cue for what I used to do habitually. So it's people, places, things, emotions, environment. So something visual or a particular thought or a particular person, all of these things can start to kick off that behavior loop. Somebody that makes you angry or frustrated. You have a good gossip about them. You feel a bit better because somebody else is also agreeing with you, but then you don't feel so good about yourself, because ultimately none of us feel good if we gossip about somebody else. Whatever it may be on that loop, because it is a punishing cycle often. A lot of the organizations where I've had opportunities to go in and talk, it's a punishing cycle, isn't it? Lots of our habitual behaviors don't feel great. They often feel quite punishing. And it's that trigger which maybe makes you feel like I'm not good enough, I'm not clever enough, I'm not XYZ enough, that will start the craving for the thing that will take away that emotion temporarily. But it just feeds the beast, doesn't it? It feeds the beast. And so it goes on. And I don't want you to be stuck in punishing cycles. And I want you to remember you can choose another thought. You can choose, with the power of the pause and self-regulation, to respond rather than react. It isn't easy. It takes intention. But even those small acts of always having the power, the pause, when you feel one of those big emotions and getting curious about it rather than furious about it, will make a huge difference. Because ultimately, willpower does not work. It's short-term, white-knuckling your way through something, forcing yourself. There's only so much willpower that's available to you anyway, because we're like a battery with willpower. It starts off like this, and it shrinks and shrinks and shrinks during the day, because we're making all these decisions. We're having all of these thoughts. And of our thoughts, 80% of them are likely to be negative. 95% of them are likely to be repetitive thoughts as the day before. And unless we decide to consciously get curious about our thoughts or what's on repeat, and decide to choose a different focus or bring in a different thought or a mantra, that's why mantras can work if you believe them. And asking yourself curious questions. Does this pattern support the life I'm trying to create? Does this thought I keep on buying into support the life I'm trying to create? Does this action that I'm taking, the gossiping or the judgment or the negativity or not doing the thing I know I'm supposed to do, does that support the life I'm trying to create? And if the answer is no, how can I do it differently? And how can I make that appealing and attractive? One of the ways is to have a toolkit. And these toolkits should help you to change your state. What do I mean by that? Well, one of the biggest ways that we get to stick with habits that are on our own side, behaviors that are on our own side, patterns of behavior to others that are on our own side, is the ability to change our state or to self-regulate. What does that mean? Well, it means that in those moments where you're feeling those big feels, the big emotions, or you're finding yourself stuck, is having a way to bring yourself back into your body, to connect mind and body, and make the choices that are going to lead to the future you want to live in. That can be different things for different people. So you might have in your wallet simply a picture of something that really matters to you, or a mantra. You may have a really small makeup bag, and in there you might have a roller which has got mint essential oil in it. Mint's amazing at bringing us back into a sharper focus. Might be some dark chocolate. It could be anything that is going to remind you to come back into your body, to take the pause and remind you of what you are looking to build in the future. Visual, anything that's sensory. And one of the most powerful ways to do that is breath work. Breathing in for 4 and out for 7. Amazing. Self-massage, so even just massaging the end of your fingers and breathing. Amazing. Music, splashing water on your wrists or the back of your neck, all of these things stimulate the vagus nerve, which helps us to regulate so we can make a conscious choice about what happens next. Make a conscious choice about which thought we're building into. You've got to get clear, though, on why you are doing the thing. It shouldn't be because you should do it or you could do it. Should be because you deeply desire that to be a core part of who you are and how you live your life, because that is going to build the future you're going to live in a way that's conscious and on purpose. And remember that you're only human. It doesn't matter if you have a day where this stuff doesn't happen. It doesn't matter if you have a week where this stuff doesn't happen. Be compassionate. These things happen. Having elasticity around your habits is also really important. So you don't then decide, right, to hell with it, it's never going to happen. One of the big ones is sleep. Having enough sleep is critical to being able to choose great behaviors. And asking yourself, am I hungry, angry, lonely, or tired? And if I'm any of those things, what is it I can do to support myself right now in order that I can help get myself back on track with the stuff that matters to me most? Other ways that we can really help bring in new habits is meditation, because it's incredible for self-control, for conscious thinking, for self-regulation. And if you're somebody that doesn't like sitting still and meditating, that doesn't matter. Meditation can be going for a walk and listening to a meditation as you walk. It can be simply listening to binaural beats and walking. It doesn't have to be the traditional sense that I have to sit there and be quiet for 10 minutes. That's not for everyone. Really focus on what you will do. So goals that are leading towards the future that we desire, the things that we're looking to create in our lives, are so much more impactful than I won't do this, I won't do that, or that's not good for me. Breath work, as we've mentioned, and then any form of movement is amazing for helping to support habit. Any form of movement, whatever that looks like for you, is incredible for supporting energy and our ability to get on track. You've got to ask yourself, am I interested in making this happen, or am I committed? And if you are truly committed to making and bringing in fabulous behaviors that are going to really support you, it needs that new way of thinking, acting, feeling. That desire has to be stronger than the force of the habit itself. And to do that, visualization is amazing. Writing journal is amazing. Even just writing down 3 bullet points at the beginning of every day. These are my non-negotiables today. And when life happens, I'm going to come back to the why. These are my non-negotiables. To do that, we have to make it rewarding. We have to let our brains know that this new pattern of behavior feels great. So we have to notice our wins. We have to congratulate ourselves. We have to make sure that we're celebrating all of the things that we're doing well. If you can do that socially or as part of a community or group, all the better. I know that last night when I was with everybody in our development academy, we were all talking about the fact that everything is so much easier with a community that's backing you, with people that are wanting and desiring the same kind of conscious evolution. Notice the progress, celebrate the wins, Give yourself a little reward on a Friday if you've done the thing that you committed to all week. Make it feel good and make it easy. Don't make it difficult. Don't make it huge. Make it easy. Small steps lead to big change. And there are some keystone habits that can help a lot. What this does is allows us to make things feel possible. These could be the smallest things that set off a chain reaction. One of the major ones is having a glass of water by your bed that you drink when you wake up in the morning. Hydrates you, stops you from going on your phone first thing, allows your brain to kick into gear, gives you the power of the pause. Might be bringing in movement, so walking. I now walk from Blackfriars every day to the station, massive. It might be planning the day before. These can be one or some, but all of these are keystone habits. So these are habits that are proven scientifically to lead to great changes all around you. And I hear you, Alison. I've never been a good sleeper myself. I hear you. Whatever it looks like. Gratitude is a huge one. And I don't mean toxic positivity, but really taking the time to notice how fortunate we are or how lucky we are to have certain aspects of people, places, things, feelings that are available to us every day, and having the intention to notice those. So these are your keystone habits. I wonder if there's one on there that you could focus on bringing into your life that would allow other things to become possible. Just pop in the chat box for me in that keystone habit. What would make a huge difference? Yes, reading over TV, for sure. What about for everyone else? Gratitude, yes, especially challenging when life is challenging. Yeah, so more hydration, more movement. Nice. And it's making these things easy for us. How do we make it easy? Is it putting the gym stuff next to our bed? Is it putting the journal next to our bed with a really nice pen? Is it making sure the water's there and available? We have to remember nothing changes if nothing changes. You have to create the action to make the change happen. And it's not easy. I'm going to let you into a secret. It isn't easy because your brain is hardwired not to have to make a new neural pathway. And it's uncomfortable at times and it can feel frustrating. And then we can feel that nothing's happening. And then things start shifting. And then we get that piece where we go back to feeling like this is just now my new normal. It's not exciting. I'm not engaged in it anymore. And we can slip all the way back. How do we make that different? One of the ways is to keep doing a whoop. What is my wish? My wish is to move more. What's the outcome of that if I move more? Well, I'm going to feel more energized. I'm going to be more productive. I'm going to feel healthier. I'm going to have more ability to run around with my kids. I'm going to feel more motivated. My self-esteem is going to feel better. I'm going to sleep more because I'm moving more. All of these things. So really construct a visualization. But what could get in the way if I'm tired, if I'm angry, if I'm feeling frustrated? So then what's my plan? I'm going to put my gym kit out. I'm going to make it super easy. I'm going to do that every single night before I go to bed. I'm going to put that by the front door. Or I'm going to wake up 15 minutes or just 10 or 15 minutes earlier so I can walk rather than get that last tube stop, whatever it might be. And reminders, what can I do so that when I am feeling stressed or tired, I don't slip back into going straight home and getting the wine and the biscuits, but I actually have that 20-minute walk. What can I do? It might be a visualization tool. It might be what I was talking about in terms of things that shift your state. So it might be the peppermint roller ball of essential oils. It could be a mantra. It might be a photo, might be a bit of dark chocolate, any of the above. And remembering that we are only human and we're not going to get it all right. And how many of you have done this? You decide to change one thing, but it can't just be one thing, it's got to be 10 things in order for life to be fabulous. How many of you have done that, right? It can't just be one small thing, it's got to be 1,000,001 things in order for this sort of fabulous future to be possible. And of course, that doesn't work because it's far too much. Or we commit to a huge shift. Again, setting ourselves up to fail, or we don't really know why we're doing the thing, or we're just trying to use willpower. It is so critical that we make it obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. Small acts make a huge difference. And if you have cues, or which are either auditory or visual, it will also make it easier. Post-its, or putting the stuff out, or putting the glass of water by your bed, or just like I've got today, making sure that there's water nearby so it's nice and easy to stay hydrated, whatever it might be. This is how to create a habit that's likely to last. And what about if we're trying to get rid of a habit that doesn't serve me? Well, ultimately, it's looking at a process of how do I not have access that's easy to that pattern that does not serve me anymore. So get rid of it in your environment. Walk a different way home if it's something you're passing. Spend less time with toxic people if they are the trigger. So make it difficult and unsatisfying. Make it invisible if you can. One of the most powerful ways to open up the possibility in your brain that a new way of working and being, or showing up, or having relationships, or operating in the world, or letting go of shopping, scrolling, flirting, judging, gossiping, eating too much, drinking too much, whatever it might be, whatever your thing might be, is using what if. What if I do move every day? What if I do let go of judgment? What if I can be the sort of person that is really focused at work? Asking yourself and putting it out there, what if? It opens up the possibility to change and helps our brain to come with us in the habit that we're trying to shift. But it needs to be a towards goal, not an away from goal. So you don't want, what if I just stop eating the crisps? What you want is, what if I am the sort of person that makes really healthy, loving choices when it comes to what I eat? But using that what if question is really good. And it helps me all the time with tons of stuff. And I walk across a common just before I get back to my house, and that's my what if time. What if I am more than capable? What if I can handle the thing? What if I can lean into change? What if I can lean into the unknown? What if I am the sort of person that X, Y, Z? It is brilliantly powerful, super simple, like all the best things are. These are the things that get in our way. We know it, we're aware of it, but when we're more conscious about this stuff, because sometimes when we're talking about things that hold us back, we think that they affect others, but actually they affect us. They really stop us from evolving and leaning into this fabulous life that we've all got this opportunity to live. All of these aspects of human behavior, which are very normal, when we let go of them or decide to be consciously aware of them, we will allow space for other things to come in. Good stuff, great energy. Moaning, judging, making negative comments about people, starting with no but. Or perhaps it's making lots of excuses, or not being able to let go, not being able to surrender, passing the buck, punishing the messenger, all of these things. Consciously letting go of some of these behaviors will allow for good stuff to come in. And a reminder that nothing in this intentional venture to bringing in habits that are going to really support you is going to be perfect. It will be imperfect. But if you know that and you're still setting yourself up for success, you're planning to make the thing happen, you're going to make it easy, you're going to make it obvious. If you can, you're going to be part of a community for accountability. And knowing that it's going to be elastic. There'll be days when it goes brilliantly well. There'll be days when it doesn't work and the thing doesn't happen. So we don't want to turn it into a fight or a battle. We want to make it a pleasurable process where we notice the small wins and we ensure that we are compassionate to ourselves when the day doesn't go quite as well as we'd hoped. It doesn't matter as long as we keep moving forwards. Progress, not perfection, always, because perfection doesn't actually exist. And the only time we need perfect anything is perhaps a brain surgeon or an accountant. But beyond that, perfection doesn't really exist. And it's reminding ourselves all the time that the choices I make are going to take me towards or away from. This choice, this thought that I'm buying into, this action I'm about to take, the thing I'm about to say is going to take me towards or away all the time. How do I make that a choice or a reaction or an action that is going to be supportive rather than destructive? And all of this is about intentionally noticing and getting curious and being compassionate and noticing our zones of genius, noticing the small wins, asking ourselves the what if question. So with the habits that you would love, or the ways of being that you would love to bring into your life, or with the habits you're currently adopting, how do you reward yourself? How do you make sure on a Friday, if you do the thing, there's a little reward? How do you track your progress? Who are you going to for accountability, encouragement, and inspiration? Those three are your pillars for bringing in new habit change. And those that we want to let go, it's all about removing them from your environment if you can, getting conscious and curious if you can. If it's people, places, things, making sure that you're aware of what those triggers are and making a plan for avoiding or letting go of or moving on from. And all of these aspects of what we've talked about today is about awareness and intention. And with more awareness and greater intention, everything is possible. So I don't know if we have any questions or any particular challenges. Now, of course, if you are looking for training in your organization or hiring or a new opportunity or another way that we can be of service or be of support, we have the most amazing team at CNC, all of which are absolutely dedicated to being the best boutique, socially conscious recruiter we can possibly be. Obviously, we're imperfect too because we're human. But I think we're pretty good at what we do. So if you need us for anything at all, you just want to get in touch, that's your opportunity to do so. Or you can just reach out to myself or Pippa on email, and we'll share the habit change with you. I am very pleased you enjoyed it, Charlotte. So just share with me, please, something you are going to take away from today. What is one thing you are going to take away from today? Something that is going to be useful. What are you going to take away? Or have you got a question? Is there anything that I can support with? Putting non-negotiables in, yes. Journaling, planning and consistency. Oh, Laura, I'm really pleased you enjoyed it. Being hungry, angry, lonely or tired. Yes, that is the power of the pause and doing something supportive for you. reminders. What type of rewards would you give yourself? Well, it was what matters to you. It might be a new book. It could be saving up for a massage. It might be investing in a course that you've always wanted to do, or joining a group. The rewards are what matters to you most. And Helen, of course you can have the recording. Of course you can. I'd be delighted to share that with you. And the Whoop, yes, it's such a powerful tool. I am so pleased that you all got something from it. Positive repetition. Hello, Melissa. Hi. All right. Well, listen, I'm really, really pleased that you're all here. Great to share space with you all. It's incredibly warm in this room. I myself am going to go and have a 5-minute walk, clear my head before lots of busy recruitment-related activity this afternoon. You're all awesome. Glad you've been here and glad to have shared space with you. I always feel really honoured that people invest their time. Lunch breaks are precious, right? So I'm really glad that you spent it here. And reach out for anything at all that you need. We'll share with you some resources after this. And I look forward to seeing you all very soon. Have a great rest of your day. Bye, everyone. Take care. And I'll speak to you all soon.